Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my preview of the 2020-2021 NFC Divisional matchup, which pits the Los Angeles Rams against the Green Bay Packers. The Rams, this should be a very compelling matchup. First off, between these two teams, the Rams finished the regular season with the #1 total and scoring defense, while the Packers finished #1 in scoring offense and #5 in total offense. The Packers may well be the best offense in the NFL. For going by scoring alone, they would be unequivocally, and the Rams would be the #1 defensive team. So this should be a very good battle. This is the Packers offense, of course, is spearheaded by Aaron Rodgers and wide receiver Davante Adams, who finished with one of in the tops in in one of the best in terms of receiving yards and receptions in the NFL. Now the thing about it is Aaron Donald can provide some pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Now the Packers finished #8 in their rushing offense, and the Rams were #3 in run defense. And the Packers were ninth in passing yards per game, while the Rams were #1 in pass defense. Can the Rams defense prevail in this one? Well, the thing about it is this: you have to keep in mind that the Rams, they may not be ravaged with injuries, but Aaron Donald suffered, I think it was a broken rib in the previous game, and Jared Goff was playing with an injured thumb, and he threw for it was a win, but he threw for like 155 yards or something. It was only 9 of 19 in pass attempts. It's going to be hard for him to do much better than that this weekend. I think he's going to have to do better than that in order for Green to beat Green Bay. I do like Green Bay to ultimately win this game. I think it'll be a tight game, but we have to look too. The Packers were formidable 7-1 at home this season, while the Rams were just 4-4 on the road. I understand now, being in the playoffs, the Rams seem like they picked up their pace, so they're playing. They might be better right now than they were in the regular season. It's hard to evaluate it really that much after just one playoff game for the Rams, but they looked very impressive last week. But we have to keep in mind, put things in perspective, that the thing about that game that the Rams had against Seattle, that one of those 7 of their 30 points really came on the pick for the touchdown return. It was a defensive touchdown, and really, well, if you want to say 6 and then the extra point, but still, this is a game I just don't know if the Rams are going to be able to keep up with the Packers offensively, and coupled with Goff and Aaron Donald not likely going to be at 100% in this one. And looking at this as well, the Rams were, the thing about it is, okay, the Rams did play a very good team last week in Seattle, and they prevailed and emerged victorious. But the thing is, the Packers come into this game winning their last 6 regular season games. Aaron Rodgers and company are rested. Aaron Rodgers had said, I think it's like a few years ago, and it was the NFC title game against Atlanta, and said something like, I don't remember his exact words, but he basically stated that it was imperative for them to have home field edge, and I guess he thought that they could have beaten Atlanta if that was actually at Green Bay. Now, Aaron Rodgers got what he wanted. He's got the home field advantage. Now it's just time to just basically show that that's what he really needed. I think the Green Bay Packers can emerge from the NFC and win this game, and then win the game the next week. But going back to the preview analysis on this particular game, the Packers, again, they did win their last 6 consecutive games. They come into this game being on a rampage. The Rams, though, did have 14 interceptions, defensive interceptions, during the regular season. That was tied for 4th in the NFL. They do have solid cornerbacks, but the Green Bay Packers do not have a propensity to throw interceptions. They only threw 5 interceptions this season, which were the fewest in the NFL. I mean, obviously Aaron Rodgers is a very, smart, shrewd, savvy quarterback. I don't think he's going to throw an interception. He may throw one, but I think, it's not going to be more than one. I don't think it's going to make that much difference if he does throw one in terms of the outcome of the game. But my feeling is he will not throw any, and of course, if he throws more than one, it can really figure prominently in this outcome, because the Rams, to me, can seem like they could be that kind of team that could really capitalize on turnovers. And the thing about this too is, and speaking of the turnovers, Green Bay also was +4 in turnover differential this season, while the Rams were -3. Another thing too is that as far as history goes, some people can argue it doesn't mean much. You look at what happened with the Browns and Steelers this past week, when basically, the Steelers had dominated the Browns at Pittsburgh for so many years, for like 17 years or so, whatever it was. And then basically you look at Cleveland goes into Pittsburgh like gangbusters and puts up like 48 points or something, and they win the game. Did everything but dismantle the Steelers. So, but history can mean something. Green Bay has taken 5 of the last 6 from the Rams, and not including, I was going to say the last game, however, the last time these two teams met, the Rams did win that game. That was in 2018. It was in late 2018. That was the season the Rams did go to the Super Bowl. They were obviously better than Green Bay at that time, and that was at Los Angeles. And even at that, it was only at like 2-point win, like 29-27 victory, I think, for the Rams at that time. And I think it's safe to say, at least on paper right now, Green Bay is the better team, and it will be at Green Bay, so that is going to play a role as well. We have to keep in mind too, the last week with that Rams win over Seattle. The thing about that was too is that you have to that was a game the Rams won. A lot of it was because of their running ability in that game, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do that in this particular game. Going back to that game the Green Bay played against the Rams in 2018, they did have Todd Gurley, and the team rushed for 135 yards and also dominated time of possession, like about 34 minutes to about 26. And I think it will be different this season, considering the Rams don't have Todd Gurley. Again, going back to the fact Jared Goff and Aaron Donald likely won't be 100% in this one. It's going to be at Green Bay. It's going to come down to the turnovers, and as good as the Rams defense is, I believe Green Bay could very well win the turnover battle in this game, because they simply don't make many miscues or mishaps. Yes, Los Angeles, if they do happen to get an interception and or fumble recovery, they're one of the teams in the NFL I see as ones that could really strongly capitalize on those turnovers and convert them into points easy. But I think Green Bay will win the turnover battle. I think they're just going to get enough out of Devontae Adams and company to help move this offense down the field. It's going to be a little harder going against this Rams secondary, but I think they will be able to do that. And if this is a game where the weather is inclement, and when I say that, I mean if it's I don't know what the weather conditions are supposed to be for this game, but if they have even light snow, that of course is going to be very strongly advantageous for Green Bay. Some of you may remember when Green Bay had played the Titans earlier this season. The Titans were going in, they had a lot of swagger and confidence, and Derrick Henry was rendered almost ineffective in that game for the Titans, and they wind up winning that game. The Packers won like by like 40-16 or something. I mean, they dismantled Tennessee and made Tennessee and Derrick Henry look very mortal in that one. And I think if you get any kind of inclement weather, it's going to obviously be more auspicious for Green Bay to come out and prevail. And keep in mind, we know one thing's for sure: we don't have to be mediumistic or psychic to know that game in Green Bay will undoubtedly be colder than it would be in Los Angeles at that time. And Los Angeles does play. In Los Angeles, of course, it's a home. That is where they're comfortable in playing. The Rams, again, were just 4-4 on the road this season. So, and the Green Bay Packers 7-1 at home. That's going to factor in to this game, and I understand why Aaron Rodgers really wanted the home field advantage. I do believe it has something to do with the fact that it can be tough to win in Green Bay, especially as you get into the latter part of the season when the temperatures get really cold and you have teams, especially that are coming from out west, that would be playing you there, and it's going to obviously really favor it can be very fortuitous for Green Bay because of that. So I think, when I look at it for these reasons, I do see Green Bay winning this game. I think it's going to be like by about a touchdown in this one. Just have to go look at something here quickly, people. But I think, too, when you look at this as well, going back to the Rams game against Seattle, as I stated before, you may remember, that's the Rams got 6 of those points off an interception return for a touchdown, and then they got the extra point was from their kicker. You're talking about the Rams would have had 23 points if not for that, and Seattle would have had 20. It would have been a much more competitive game. In as far as that goes, and you figure the Rams on the offensive end will probably have to score over 23 points against Green Bay at Green Bay. I don't even know if they're going to be able to do that, because I think Green Bay is going to score at least 26, 27 in this one, even though the Rams do have that vaunted defense, and again, it should be a very good matchup when you're talking about what could very well be the best offense in the NFL with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and company going against when you're talking the number one scoring and total defense, it's safe to say the Rams do boast the best defense in the NFL, and they should make this very competitive, but I still like Green Bay in a close one. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment. Excuse me. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.